With just 3 days until the Super Bowl rematch, both the Chiefs and Eagles are reeling from fresh injuries, but it's Philadelphia who might benefit the most. Plus, A.J. Brown's perfect response to his lackluster Week 1, why Kevin Patullo's game plan on offense must change quickly, what the Eagles just did with Jalen Carter yesterday that could change everything. I'm Thomas Mott, this is the Thomas Mott Show. Alright, well, as usual, there's a lot going on inside Philadelphia. We still have the fallout from Jalen Carter's suspension, plus updates on A.J. Brown's lackluster Week 1, and of course, fresh injury updates for both teams that are definitely going to impact Sunday afternoon. And of course, all of this falls under the fact that Philadelphia will travel back to Arrowhead on Sunday for a Super Bowl rematch, with a little bit of extra history on the line as Patrick Mahomes and Jalen Hurts become the first pair of quarterbacks to face off in the regular season after winning a Super Bowl against each other. First, though, I have not actually heard from the winner of the Saquon Barkley Jordan Spector art piece I gave away on the previous video. That winner was Fosh 0 Games 3724. Fosh, you won. Let me know down below in the comments section. Although, if I do not hear from you by Saturday, 2 days from now, I will redraw a winner from someone down below in the comment section. So, drop a like, and why don't you comment your score prediction for Sunday to go ahead and re-enter. Now, injury news in a second, but to me, the biggest takeaway from the past 48 hours in Philadelphia has to be the fallout from A.J. Brown and really the whole passing attack's lackluster performance on Thursday night versus the Dallas Cowboys, where Brown, as we all know, only had one target, and it's led to some wondering if the game plan was poorly developed or if Brown himself was still suffering the effects of the hamstring injury that sidelined him for much of training camp. And well, let's go game plan first here, as offensive coordinator Kevin Patullo tried to dispel that myth that A.J. Brown wasn't the primary target during his press conference yesterday.
Going in, we had a fair share of things that were going to go him as the primary, and sometimes games play out like that, and that's kind of how it was. And kind of to the previous question, we don't ever want to force it. So if it's one of those games where you're trying not to force it and you're being productive and you're staying on track, the guys understand. He played his butt off too. Like he knew kind of what was going on and just the way it was, and we were moving the ball and being efficient. So I think when you look at it, you always put that in mind when you start the game plan. Like this week, hey, he's the guy. This is where we want to go with it. And once the game starts to unfold, you just kind of play it accordingly.
Not to be outdone, A.J. Brown himself actually went on the Jordan Schultz podcast and explained how the Cowboys were actually playing against him. That was the real factor on Thursday night, and not the fact that he's still injured.
I know I'm in the game because, the coverage is getting rotated to me every single play, and even if it's underneath catches to Dallas Goedert or Johan getting his one-on-one opportunity, he making the big grab from the post, that's how I know I'm still in this game and in this game, and I'm still affecting this game. So regardless of if I was touching the ball or not, I'm still making an impact on the game. But as a receiver, it is tough because you want to touch the ball, you want to feel like you're contributing, and so. But yeah, that was tough. But I try to do a really good job of staying locked in and staying ready. I've seen a lot of stuff on the internet. Had zero separation and
all that bullshit.
Decoy, all that, and which is crazy because none of those things are true. I got zoned the entire game. I didn't get not one single man rep. So obviously there won't be any separation, and I'm not hurt and I wasn't a decoy. Just kind of how the game went. So I just know I'm excited for week 2.
Of course, I'm not a film expert by any means. I've told you guys that, but the All-22 does confirm this. Dallas was in zone basically the entire evening, which forced Jalen Hurts to find the holes in the defense, which resulted in less targets for A.J. Brown. Now, of course, zone or not, Philadelphia has to find ways to get A.J. Brown the ball even when teams are doubling him or playing soft coverage, and I think they're going to on Sunday versus the Chiefs. Can we just take a second to acknowledge the fact that A.J. Brown was given a total bait question to try to get him to jump on the Birds offense and really what they did or did not do on Thursday night yesterday during his press conference, and he gave an absolutely perfect answer.
When you guys did your self-scout from Thursday's game, what did you learn about the passing game, and what kind of adjustments do you think you'd like to see going forward?
I'm not answering. That's a setup question. I'm not answering that. I'm gonna be honest about it. I'm not answering that. But I'm gonna focus on myself. I'm like my effort and what I do, and so I'm not mad at you, but I'm not answering.
Also, I want to give a massive shout out to the sponsor of this video, Sundays for Dogs. I think by now you guys know my wife and I love our 2 golden retrievers, Blue and Ember. And recently, we wanted to get them off the typical dried, processed kibble and eat something actually real and much healthier. Now, what makes Sundays actually different is their food was actually created by veterinarians who wanted something healthier and cleaner for dogs of their own. And their ingredients are super transparent, like no weird synthetics or artificial preservatives, just wholesome food you can actually recognize. And the best part is it's actually all air dried. That means it keeps all the same nutrients of the frozen or refrigerated options, but in a way more convenient bag. I literally just have to scoop it out and serve. No prep, no mess, and no refrigeration. And if you never switch your dog to a healthier food option, oh my goodness, you are in for an absolute treat. They have way more energy, a lot shinier of a coat, and overall, you can just tell they seem so much happier and healthier. Honestly, it's been a visible transformation. So if you want to witness your dog's transformation, well, I got a promo code for you guys. Click the link down below in my description box. Use my promo code ThomasM to get 40% off your first order from Sunday for Dogs. Trust me on this one, give Sundays a try, your dog is going to absolutely love it. I do think, though, the offensive game plan from Thursday night did have some holes that didn't really involve A.J. Brown or Jalen Hurts, but really offensive coordinator Kevin Patullo. As many pointed out after the fact that Philadelphia ran 12 plays from the pistol against the Cowboys, with 11 of those being runs. That averaged 2.6 yards per carry. And to go on top of that, those pistol runs came in the second half against 8+ man boxes most of the time.
It's funny, not really. When you look at it situationally, we went back and did some self-scouting stuff. It wasn't that we ran into heavy boxes. I think there was just at times situationally there was a run called. And when you look at the coverage that we were given, they were kind of messing around with some stuff that appeared to be a little bit of a heavy box. And we didn't always block it properly, so we just got to continue to work on that. But really, when you look at just kind of the calls with how the flow of the game was going, for the most part, obviously in the first couple drives, we had a good flow as far as the run pass mix and kind of continued with that. So I wouldn't say, we definitely knew exactly every play what was going to happen. So it was a good mix for the most part.
If anything, new OC Kevin Patullo was just a little bit too conservative for my like, and it's not a knock on KP. It's his first time calling plays. You don't want to ruin in the opening game on Thursday night, but I think he's got to open up the offense a little bit more, not be as scripted and as designed, especially in the running game. Find ways to get A.J. Brown open and Saquon Barkley some more outside zone runs, and I think they're going to be just fine. In the end, though, we must give credit to the Dallas Cowboys because they gambled on playing soft zone coverage and not letting A.J. Brown and Smitty beat them over the top, and sure enough, it technically worked. What Dallas was really able to do, though, that no one else has figured out all of last year was how to play soft coverage, but also slow down Saquon Barkley. For example, the Chiefs in Super Bowl 59 decided to play man against Barkley and Smitty and sell out against Saquon, and obviously did a very good job against Barkley, but then were, of course, exposed on the back end all night long. I'm expecting a lot more of the same on Sunday. It's very hard to duplicate what Dallas did on Thursday night. Moving on, and it leads well into the injury news from the Birds' first practice as Dallas Goedert reportedly suffered a knee injury and is not expected to play on Sunday, which on one hand is a massive bummer because Dallas Goedert was Hurts' favorite target on Thursday night when they shut down A.J. Brown and Saquon had kind of a, lackluster performance. But on the other hand, it is a minor knee issue, but this is becoming par for the course for Dallas Goedert, who seems to be hurt basically every single season. Hurts connected with Dallas Goedert on all 7 of his targets last Thursday for multiple huge conversions. But of course, with Goedert out, Grant Calcaterra and newcomer Kylan Granson will be expected to fill in the gaps. And of course, now Goedert has missed at least one game in every single season he's played since being drafted back in 2018. And likely being out on Sunday is a huge reason why Philadelphia is probably going to let their number 1 tight end go in free agency and test the waters this coming March. Dallas Goedert is easily one of the best tight ends in Eagles history and still a top 5 tight end in the National Football League. Durability is the concern. Here we go again. Not a massive deal. They can win this game on Sunday without him. We'll confirm later on in the week if he's officially out, but I do think Philadelphia will have a brand new number 1 tight end in 2026, barring, a cheap contract that brings Dallas Goedert back that benefits Philadelphia. Now, of course, the good news from Eagles practice was the return of Landon Dickerson, who was technically limited with a back injury, but it clearly was somewhat of a major issue late in that Cowboys win. Although, as usual, Dickerson looks like he's going to be hurt for a while and then comes back and seems just fine, and that was exactly the case on Wednesday. Not expected to play on Sunday is Chiefs star wide receiver Xavier Worthy, who obviously suffered this shoulder injury. You've seen the play by now in KC's Brazil opener, and despite Andy Reid and the Chiefs attempting to hide his status and be a little mysterious on if he will play this Sunday, multiple insiders have said there is a 0% chance Worthy plays. And yet, the news that just dropped was that Xavier Worthy did participate, albeit very limited fashion, at Chiefs practice on Thursday, which could technically indicate he might give it a go on Sunday, but I would still bet he does not play, maybe comes back in week 3, and if he is somehow out there at Arrowhead, he's not going to be much of a factor. Which obviously is massive news for Philadelphia because we do forget that despite the blowout, Worthy was the Chiefs' only standout statistical wide receiver in Super Bowl 59, hauling in 8 catches for 157 yards and 2 touchdowns. Yes, in garbage time, the dagger had already happened, but still, he was probably their lone impressive player. This does mean KC's top receivers on Sunday will be Hollywood Brown, Juju Smith-Schuster, and Tyquan Thornton. Not exactly the outside threat that should strike fear into Philadelphia's DBs, even Adoree Jackson. What should strike fear into the Chiefs, however, has got to be newcomer Za'Darius Smith, who's going to join the rest of the Birds' edge rushers in trying to create the living hell that Patrick Mahomes experienced for 60 minutes last time they played in New Orleans.
I'm not going to say I'm out here to prove nothing, man. I'm just out here to help this team the best way I can, man. We got a lot of younger guys, man, so I can be a mentor to them. Winning, hopefully we can win games to get where we were last year, where they were last year, to where I can get a chance to experience.
Yeah, that's a big dude. That's a big dude. I'm really excited for him to be here, to add to this defense and fit in when he can.
Casey, of course, countered the Super Bowl performance by drafting new left tackle Josh Simmons, but he allowed a team-high 4 pressures versus the Chargers and a 51.0 PFF grade in that first career start. Signing with a team and then playing a couple of days later is always tough. Like, spinning up can be difficult, although edge rusher is the easiest position to spin up at. And so I think Za'Darius Smith will have a limited snap count, less than 20, but I think he could make a pretty significant impact on going and getting Patrick Mahomes and helping beat the Chiefs. Staying with the new additions and alongside our first practice look at Za'Darius Smith, there he is, rocking 53 on the opposite side of the football field. We also saw the Birds' newest toy in running back Tank Bigsby, rocking number 37. And what do you know, as we expected, Bigsby was already one of the lead kick returners during Wednesdays and Thursdays practice. I bet we see him back there early and often on Sunday.
Just here to do whatever they ask me to do and do my job at the full potential. So whatever they ask me to do, just be on my best at that.
Michael Clay, the special teams coach, had talked about your potential as a kick returner. How much experience did you have of doing that in Jacksonville and then also in college?
I had a lot in college and in Jacksonville. Started last year and this year. So, just getting an opportunity to get out there and fly around on kick return, whatever I can do to help this team be the best again. So that's all I'm trying to do.
Kick returning is one thing. I don't expect a lot of runs for Tank Bigsby. Not to say he will get 0, but in terms of spinning up, being a running back in a new offense versus a pass rusher in a new defense, it's a little bit different there. Obviously, Saquon Barkley 1. A.J. Dillon should get the bulk of the number 2 carries, and then they'll mix Tank in. It's going to be very limited, if any, on offense. Staying with the Birds roster, and how about Howie Roseman's continued revolving door with the practice squad signings, as Philadelphia, once again, made a bunch of moves yesterday and brought back defensive tackle Gabe Hall after releasing him a day prior from the active roster. Now, Hall, of course, only played 5 snaps versus the Dallas Cowboys, but is still considered a bright spot down the Eagles' depth chart at DT. I'm honestly surprised he cleared waivers, but very pumped personally to have him back in Philadelphia because I think the kid can play. Staying with the idea of playing and going back to the Jalen Carter situation, gotta mention it here quickly because A, I'm obviously tired of talking about it. It's something in the past, but B, there was a pretty cool internal update from both Jordan Davis and the Birds themselves, with Davis first off telling reporters that Carter has apologized for his actions and then had maybe his best practice to date this week on Wednesday.
It's just, he's a mature person, so when you go in there, he has to self-reflect and he has the time to do that, and I'm sure he hated being out there, and, I could see it when we went in for halftime and the little delay that he was sick, he was worried sick, and, everybody wants to be out here to play. I'm sure, when he did that or whatever happened, I don't know what transpired unless I seen it on video, but, I'm sure when that happened, it was just kind of just a whirlwind of emotions and stuff like that, and, that's football. Football is an emotional sport, but I know that he's going to be back here. He had a great practice today. He's going to be back out here. Just being the same Jalen Carter. He's a disruptive player. He's going to be disruptive, so we just got to get to the game.
Internally, though, I love what Adam Schefter explained to The Fanatic on Wednesday, that Philadelphia technically has clauses in Carter's contract that could have been voided due to his actions versus Dallas, but they chose not to exercise those in sort of a good faith move by Howie Roseman and company.
Yeah, the Eagles could have decided to go after some of the money in Jalen Carter's contract. There were clauses that were set up, forfeiture clauses, things that made them able to pursue signing bonus payment forfeiture. And again, in their conversations with the league and each other and the PA, the Eagles and Jalen's agent, Drew Rosenhaus, worked out an agreement that says the team will not use the suspension to void any of the guaranteed money in his contract.
Philadelphia could have easily been greedy and said, Jalen Carter, you violated your contract, on the field issues, we're going to take some money back, void some guarantees. That would have made it a lot harder to actually sign Jalen Carter to a fair contract next offseason. And so Philadelphia, I think, made a very smart move here to go, JC, You served your time, you missed the game. Maybe they do some internal discipline, who knows? But they're not going to void any part of his contract. And that's really good faith for a guy that they truly believe in, despite his character flaws on everything coming out of the draft, which we've talked about here on the show. And despite, jeopardizing the team on Thursday night versus the Dallas Cowboys, everybody internally has been saying he looks extremely focused this week. Obviously, he had a fantastic practice on Wednesday and Thursday as well. I'm expecting massive things from Jalen Carter. And again, shout out Howie Roseman in the front office for handling this. It just goes to show why Philadelphia's front office is considered the best in the league and why players choose to even take a little bit less money to come back to Philadelphia. Now, of course, as usual, plenty more stuff happening the next couple of days and weeks. Look for a Saturday morning preview video to get you ready for the game on Sunday afternoon. Josh and I will stream the game on Sunday, and still go and subscribe and tune in for that. Fox 0 Games 3724. Don't hear from you by Saturday's show. I will redraw for the Saquon Barkley picture, which is below me somewhere over here. Comment down below. Give me a Chiefs-Eagles score prediction, and I'll go ahead and pick somebody from that if I don't hear from Fosh. Obviously, too, a lot going on in the world. I know I'm not a political channel, and obviously I keep it Philadelphia Eagles 100% here. It's always been my promise, but hug your loved ones, hold them tight. It's a crazy world we live in. It's been a very, very sad week. I'll just say that. So either way, focusing on the Eagles, getting ready for Saturday and Sunday. Pretty pumped for this one. Again, score predictions, let me know. I'm Thomas Mott. This has been the Thomas Mott Show.